I've been thinking about life today. Not my own life, like my childhood or my history or anything, just life in general. I suppose a bit of existential, introspective, whatever. I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those words correctly, but it's cool. Doesn't matter. It's not about pronunciation. But I've been thinking about life today, and I've kind of fallen somewhere in between. I think life is beautiful, and I think life is misery. Can't really make up my mind onto which one. I suppose it kind of goes back and forth every day. Some days is more beautiful and some days are more miserable, you know? I suppose that's just life in general. Not every day is going to be a good day, not every day is going to be a bad day, etc. But I don't know what it is. I'd like to not be somewhere in the middle. I'd like to just look at life and appreciate the beauty of life, appreciate life for what it is, you know? But I can't really do that. I really can't do that. I try. I've been trying for I don't know. I wouldn't say a long time. I've not been miserable forever, but it's a lot easier to be miserable than it is to be happy, is what I've noticed. The conclusion that I've come to. It's a lot easier to just focus on all the bad things and bad parts of my life or life in general than it is to just appreciate the smaller things, the simpler things, you know? And I don't know. I think I think that's how you enjoy life, honestly. I think life is about the simple things. It's about the small things, the little moments, you know? It's not about I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought as I'm trying to place blocks here. I think life is about the simple things, right? I think the beauty of life comes from the simplicity of it, not, you know, not the big things. Granted, I think there's some beautiful big things too. You know, I think the world as a whole is beautiful. There are beautiful parts that I shouldn't say as a whole. There's some pretty not so pretty parts of the world, but we're not going to talk about that stuff because I'm trying to be in a good mood, trying to stay positive right now, trying to, you know, get out of the middle and just be more happy. You know, more positive, more appreciative of the life I live. You know, because as I keep repeating, I do think life is beautiful. I think there's beauty to be had in this world, and you just have to see it. You just have to look for it, you know? Granted, there's a lot of bad stuff too. And like I said, it's a lot easier to focus on the bad parts than it is the good parts. It's a lot easier to look at the misery of life and just be unhappy about it, that things are not so beautiful as something like, I don't know, something like a Disney movie makes it out to be. You know, you grow up and you realize life is not the movies. Life is difficult and cruel and ugly. There's a lot of hatred and a lot of bad things going on all over the place all the time. And it's pretty easy to feel a little, I guess, negative, for lack of a better word. It's very easy to feel a little negative about it, about everything. You know, it's hard to appreciate something simple like the birds singing in the morning when there is atrocities going on all across the globe and just terrible stuff all the time. Not even, I mean, it could be just in your personal life, you know? I I will uh, I don't know. I was gonna say proudly or confidently, but that's not really a fitting word for the situation. But I will be the first person to tell you that I am not very happy with where I am in life right now. The choices that I've made that have brought me here, I mean, that sounds like I have a lot of regrets. That's not the case. I don't really have any regrets as to the life I've lived, but my current living situation is, let's say, less than ideal, you know? To put it simply, to put it nicely. But still, and I just replaced that with the completely wrong block. That's fine. But still, I try to find good things in my less than ideal life, my less than ideal living situation. I try to just appreciate whatever I can, whatever I have. You know, I've always tried to be an appreciative person. I've always tried to appreciate what I have more than think about what I don't, you know. I've never wanted to be a materialistic person in that aspect of, you know, granted I have some some strange attachment issues that lead me to be very sentimental about materialistic items. So I suppose I am a little materialistic in that aspect, but for the most part, I've always tried to just appreciate the things I have rather than think about the things I could have. You know, appreciate the place I am rather than think about the place I could be. Things like that, you know? And that's not always easy. It's definitely easier said than done. You know, it's very, as I will repeat, it's very easy to just focus on the bad parts, the negative side of anything and everything, you know, whether it's the real world or it's just your own life. Negativity is always so much stronger than positivity, at least most times. And at least in my case, I should say, in my life, in my brain, it's much easier to just focus on all the bad stuff happening either to me or around me or in general than it is to think about, like, I don't know, something simple like the birds singing in the morning. But it's stuff like that. Stuff like the birds singing in the morning, stuff like a warm cup of coffee on a cold winter day. It's stuff like that that makes life beautiful. I think. I think that's what makes life beautiful. I think that's what makes life a little bit more worth living. You know, just simple things like that. Because life is not grand. It's not it's not big and beautiful as many might hope it to be. It is very simple. It's very long. Very long. Life is long. And I'm saying that as a young person, 23, and I feel like I've lived many lives already. I've reached many points where I wonder how much more I can take, how much more I can just keep going. But I do. As a human, as is what we do as humans, we endure. We keep going, we keep pushing, we keep fighting, or at least we try. You gotta try, you know. I've reached many points where I just wanted to give up and throw it all to the wind. Wait a minute. Something's not right here. Something is not. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. 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 I got it. Figuring it out. One block at a time. But I think the point that I'm trying to get at, as I'm distracting myself more and more, is that you have to fight for life to be beautiful or to feel beautiful or to, you know, whatever, whatever way you want to phrase it, word it, however, you have to make your life beautiful. You have to make your life worth living. And I honestly hate that. I really, really hate that. I am not a fan of the quote that life is what you make it. I do not think that's true. I think life is uncontrollable and pretty awful a lot of times, a lot of the time. I don't think I don't think life is necessarily what you make it. I think life can be made better with the things you do or the things you choose, how you choose to live. I also think that's very dependent on person to person, and my ideal life is going to look very different than anyone else's. So my idea of what a beautiful life would look like is probably very different than what your idea of a beautiful life might be. And maybe maybe it's easy. You know, maybe it's simple. Maybe it's not as hard as it feels some days, sometimes, to live a beautiful life or to have a beautiful life. I really don't know. I don't really know how you go about it, how you make that happen. I'd like to think I do. I like to think I have some ideas, you know, some ways or well, I guess ideas is the proper word. Some ideas on how to make life more worth living, you know? But to be honest, I have no idea. I really have no clue how you make a life feel worth living. It's very person to person dependent, right? As I said just a minute ago, my idea of a perfect life is probably very different than yours, you know? In some ways, I'm kind of living a perfect life in the fact that I am ignoring my responsibilities and I've been unemployed for like 3 months now, just playing Minecraft every day. It's a pretty perfect life, but the reality of everything else comes and weighs in, and can't be unemployed forever. Bills pile up. My parents don't want to support a 23-year-old bum for the rest of their lives, and who can blame them? So it's hard to appreciate the beauty or the simplicity or the, I guess, good parts of my life when the reality of it is much more negative and much stronger. And so it kind of is just this trying to find a balance between how to live a life that I like, how to live a life that I want while not feeling like everybody's disappointed in me or feeling like I'm throwing my future away or feeling like I'm just destined to go nowhere and do nothing. And it's it's kind of a weird position to be in, I think, or at least I feel, because that is what I am living currently, is this in between of where do I go from here? What do I do next? How do I not feel guilty or disappointed in myself? Or, how do I just appreciate the simplicity of the life that I live? How do I shut off the reality of the real world and just enjoy my day to day long enough that maybe I can fit into the real world a little better? Maybe if I, you know, can find more appreciation or more beauty in the life that I live, maybe the real world and the rest of life, the rest of my life, my future, I should say, won't be so daunting or intimidating or nerve wracking, you know? If I can just live my day to day a little happier every day, then maybe the future won't be so scary, you know? Because I'm terrified of the future. I'm terrified of growing up, well, growing up more, getting older, etc. I'm very, very scared of what that's gonna be like or what that's gonna hold. You know, it's intimidating. We spend our whole lives just growing up, growing up, growing up, growing up, but I don't think I was ever prepared for it. I don't think I was ever ready to grow up. I think I've had to, well, I shouldn't say I think. I know that I've had to grow up more than a handful of times through my life, different points, different years, I should say, where I couldn't be so childish anymore. I had to mature. I had to grow up. Like when I was 16 and or maybe I was 15, 14. Whenever I had to get my first job, that was a very eye-opening experience to me because I didn't go and get my first job because I wanted to get a job or because I had plans or something. Like I don't know. I think most kids get their first job because they want to make their own money or their parents don't want to pay for their fast food at lunch or something. Or I don't know why most kids get jobs. Maybe they just want to. Maybe because they need to, because they have to mentally prepare themselves for what the rest of their life is going to be like. But I got my first job because I felt guilty for my mom having to spend all her time working and working and working and never really getting to spend any of that money on herself. It felt like everything that she was doing, all the work that she did, all the money that she made, felt like it was always going straight to me because I was just, I don't know, needed money to buy food and things and whatever. She didn't really have time to take me out to go shopping. So if I needed stuff, I'd go with my friends or something. And so, or bills, rent, money, things like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what my mom spent her money on. All I know is that she would always tell me how little money she had, how she needed more money. She needed more money. She had to work such late hours and so often all the time because we needed money. We always needed more money. You always need more money. So I got a job because I wanted to help. I wanted to either help pay bills or help pay rent or at least take the weight off of her shoulders of having to pay for me for things that I need and you know I wanted to take care of myself. I wanted to be self-sufficient. And I suppose part of that is because I grew up with brothers who have never been afraid to ask for things. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. Good for them. I wish I had that kind of confidence. But I also was the one that would always hear about it. My mom would always come and tell me about how, oh, your brother needs this for his car, so I had to spend so and so much money to fix his tires, or your other brother needed this and this and this for whatever reason, things like that. And so I never wanted to add on to that. I never wanted to add on to the, I guess, what I felt like was annoyance or just irritation, I guess. I never wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be better than that, I suppose. To put it one way, put it not necessarily simply, but I wanted to just take care of myself. I wanted to prove that I was not just a bum and that I had some sort of potential to be better or to be somebody or be something and that I wasn't gonna just be a lazy 16-year-old going nowhere fast, you know? And I don't know who I was really trying to prove that to. I don't think anybody really cares, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, obviously, in some capacity, my mom cares. She's happy that I am not just a loser living in her basement, but to be fair, I'm just a loser living in my dad's basement instead, so not much has really changed, and I don't really know how good of a job I did at proving myself, I tried. I definitely tried. And these look like two different blocks. Is that because they face different ways, or is it because this is an actual different block? Am I crazy? Am I am I stupid? What is going on here? I think I'm crazy. Okay, anyway, that's fine. It all looks so similar. I can't. Okay. Anyway, losing my train of thought very rapidly. No surprise there. But I just I just want to be happy, you know? I've said that a lot, but I just want to be happy. I just want to live happily ever after, I suppose. And I don't really know how to do that. I don't know if that's really something that I have control over. I don't really think I have a choice in that matter. I suppose in some ways I have a say in that matter. In some ways I am in control of my life to some capacity, but at the same time, a lot of things that have happened in my life that have led me to the mental instability that I deal with and the just mess of a brain that I have has been very out of my control. A lot of my life has just kind of happened with me in the background. You know, I sometimes think that part of the problem is that I grew up a little too fast. In some ways, I feel like I lost my innocence at a very young age, or a early-ish age, and kind of left me in this weird position of growing up and not. Like, I kind of robbed myself of a childhood by not going to school and not doing anything. And so as I got older, I kind of feel like I kind of resorted back to the childhood that I missed. And I kind of wanted to just be a bum. I wanted to be a loser. I wanted to just do nothing all day long. I wanted to just spend all my time with my friends and just wasting my life away. You know, I didn't want to work. I didn't want to go to school, which granted I was going to school at this point because that's how I started seeing my friends and stuff again. I wouldn't have been able to reconnect with anybody had I not started going to school. But my point being is that I just didn't want to be, I guess I didn't want to be like everybody else. I didn't want to be a regular contributing member of society or something. I wanted to be a kid again. I wanted to live the childhood that I took away from myself. And I did for a while. I was just goofing off, having fun, living life every day as I see fit. And I think that's probably one of the happiest points in my life is when I just lived every day as a new adventure or lived every day doing whatever I wanted to. No real thoughts to it. It was just wake up and text my friends and see what they're up to and what they want to do and figure out how we're gonna get across town to meet up with each other. Or in the summer, we just basically became roommates for like 3 months. I would just wake up on the couch. My two friends were in my bedroom waiting for me, and we go about our day from there. You know, that sounds really weird the way I worded it, but I don't know. I always feel like I'm a good host. I like hosting people, but I'm too nice, I think. And so when I have people staying over at my house, like when I used to have friends over or sleepovers, whatever, I would always give up my bed and I would go sleep on the couch and just, what anything anybody needs, I will provide. Don't worry about the detriment it causes me. And that's fine. I'm not complaining about that. That's just who I am. I'm a very quick to give what I have for your sake type of thing, type of person, if you will. But anyways, I don't know what the difference was. I mean, I guess a big difference between then and now is that I interesting. Interesting. Okay, whatever. You have fun up there. A big difference between then and now is that I had friends, for one, so I think that probably is a pretty contributing factor towards my happiness. But I think it's also just that I didn't care so much. I didn't really care about my future because I didn't really have any plans for my future. I kind of just was drifting. I was kind of just existing. I was kind of just letting every day happen. Like I said, I just kind of let every day happen as it did. I didn't put any thought into it. I didn't worry about how I'm going to feel the next day or how this might affect my plans for the future. Or, I mean, like I said, I didn't have any plans for the future. It was just every day is a new day, every day is an adventure. And then I just keep growing up, I keep getting older, and more reality sets in that every day is not an adventure. Or I guess that's my own fault. I could make every day an adventure if I wanted to. I could just go out and do things with my time, with my life, with myself. But I don't, for whatever reason. Maybe because of my unhappiness of the world or my unhappiness of my life, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what changed, what made me feel like I had to stop. I guess it was working, getting a job, and opening my eyes to the realities of my parents' lives, and that, you know, they're not, they're not the happy-go-lucky people that I grew up thinking they were. That I realized my parents are people too, that have thoughts and feelings and go through their own ups and downs and their own personal battles. And I feel like I should have realized that at a much younger age, but I don't know why I came in trying to sleep. But I think that's part of what put me in this in between of life is beautiful and life is misery, because the people that brought me into this world aren't even happy and aren't even enjoying the life they live. How am I supposed to? You know? I didn't ask to be brought into this world. I didn't ask to be this miserable, you know? I I'm just here, you know? And I want to appreciate the gift that life is. I want to appreciate this simple fact that I exist, that I was born, you know, because that's a beautiful thing. Life is beautiful at its core, at its root. It's a beautiful thing that we exist on this planet, in this time, in this world. You know, we're blessed with the freedom of free will or conscious thought or what. I had it and I lost it as soon as I started saying it, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to get at, that it's a beautiful thing. Life in general, existence as a whole, is a beautiful thing, you know. Yet at the same time, it is so miserable. So, so, so miserable to just have to exist, to have to just have to keep going through, no matter the good or the bad, or, you know, doesn't matter. You just have to push through and just keep fighting and keep trying and keep going. And I suppose you don't have to. You can just die. That's always an option, but it's probably my least favorite option because death is scary. Death is very scary, and I don't know. I don't know. It's something about these barn doors that I just don't like. Maybe I need slabs. Maybe slabs would fix it. Just, yeah, not really. Really didn't fix anything. It's a door. It's supposed to be a giant barn door, so it's supposed to look. Maybe I need to put like trap doors or something on it. I don't know. I don't know. This place definitely needs some light for sure. Don't have any regular torches, so we're just gonna slap these down on the ground. Anyway, life is something. Life is definitely something. It's, as I said, somewhere between beautiful and miserable. Somewhere between happy and sad, I suppose, is the conclusion that I'm coming to. And hopefully I won't be this way forever. Hopefully in time I will just appreciate more, appreciate the beauty life has to offer. Hopefully someday I have the ability, the means to appreciate what life has to offer, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. It's so contradictive. I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy either. You know, I'm not miserable, but at the same time, I'm not really anything else. I am just kind of stuck. I think that's the problem. I think I'm just kind of stuck. I think I've been stuck for a while now. Not just in my living situation, not just in my house, because I don't have a license and I don't know how to drive, and that's a whole can of worms that we don't need to open. I don't know why I just cut down that whole tree as if I don't have a ton of logs just sitting right here, but it's fine. It's cool. It's all good. All good. All good. Anyway, I just think life should not be hard to enjoy. I think that's my biggest issue with myself, even, is that life shouldn't be hard to enjoy. I mean, you're listening to me preach about how I think life is beautiful. I think the simplicities of life are what make it beautiful and yada yada yada. Yet at the same time, I sit here and talk about how life is so miserable and the world is on fire and etc. It's rough. It's very rough. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have to be. At least life should not be difficult. Should not be hard to enjoy. It should be easy. And it's just not. And I don't know if you can really blame anybody for that. I think it's just kind of how the world came to be, that life is hard. Maybe that's what makes it so miserable, is that it's difficult. And saying that makes me feel kind of lazy in a way. Makes me feel kind of, I don't know. As I said before, I'll be the first to admit I was not prepared for life, for the real world, for any of this existence. And again, I'm sure I could blame somebody. Sure, I could blame my parents, say they didn't do a good enough job raising me to the realities of the world. But why would I? Why bother? What's the point in blame and complaining? I mean, I guess I'm sitting here complaining this whole time, but rather than try to figure out who to blame for my issues, maybe I'd rather just figure out how to enjoy my life a little more and to just be a little happier in my day to day. I think that'd be a better option, but I'm not entirely sure how to do it. So hopefully I'll figure it out, and hopefully you'll stick with me on this journey while I figure it out. But I think that's going to be it for me today. So I hope you enjoyed listening, watching, whatever, being here in general. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your life. And I hope maybe, hopefully, you have a little bit easier time enjoying it than I do. Maybe. And if not today, then maybe tomorrow. But anyways, I'm gonna go. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye.